If it's your first time at the U.S. Patent Office going through the prosecution process, try to kind of relax a little. So inevitably, the first real piece of paper you'll get back from the Patent Office is something that says, we don't think your invention is patentable. Okay, because that's their job. They look at it, and then they come up with a couple of references, and they think, look, we think if you combine reference X and reference Y, that's essentially what you're doing, so we're not going to give you a patent. And true first-timers always freak out. They get very frustrated. It's a very emotional response, and they say, how can they say that? They don't understand it. You know, it's the way they're viewing the references isn't even correct. And so I think the most important thing to know is that it's never really final. Okay, so you can keep presenting your arguments to the patent office. You can try to do a better job of explaining what your invention is to the patent office. But just know it's kind of a negotiation process. It's never final. They're not trying to, light fires under you or anything like that. So I think that's the most important thing to know. So then you respond, right? And you say, sometimes you make clarifying amendments. You say, oh, I see what you're saying, because you're understanding this word to mean X, and what I really meant was Y. And so you'll change that word to read Y and describe how it's really different. Or sometimes the patent office will really actually just get it wrong. And so you say, hey, I think I understand what you're saying, but that's not what we're talking about here. Let me tell you how to understand these words. And then you'll submit that back. And they'll either come back to you and say, we disagree, or they'll say, we agree, and then they'll grant you a patent. So you can do examiner interviews by the phone. You can sometimes do them by video conference, and then you can go out there in person. When you go out there in person, I really think it helps a lot. We've had huge success with that, explaining what the technology is, showing them the devices, talking through the references in person, and also gives them the sense that this is a real company and a real product and a real application, and real stuff is happening. So I think it really expedites things as opposed to just kind of hiding behind paper, on your side and them hiding behind paper on their side.